another episode of Success University with your host, Krystal Colley, also known as the most famous woman in the world. Okay, so today I want to talk about credit. And I'm sorry if my audio is crappy still, and I know the audio for these first few episodes is not going to be ideal. I actually went to school for audio engineering way back in 2008, so trust me, out of anybody, I know that this audio is not ideal. But really quick putting it out there, I just moved to Texas from California, and all of my belongings are not here yet. So they're trailing behind me by a couple of weeks. And my entire studio setup is still in California right now. So I don't have my nice microphones. I don't have my nice compressor. I don't have my nice I don't have my preamp. Okay, I know all that stuff. But I like to say that just start things that you want to start, even if it's not ideal. And so I'm taking a piece of my own advice, which is I really wanted to start this podcast this year, and I really wanted to start it now. I didn't want to wait for my stuff. And so here it is. Okay, so I'm also in a drop top, humble brag. I'm in a drop top right now, and I'm sitting in a parking lot, and the top is open, and there's a freeway right next to me. Okay, moving on. Credit. So I just want to bring to all of us entrepreneurs and go-getters out there the importance of credit. It's just not talked about enough. When I hear people talking about how they want to start a business, I often hear people wanting to go get a partner and an investor as the very first step in their journey towards starting their small business. And I always look at them like, why? If you can start a business by yourself tomorrow, why would you bother with going and trying to basically beg someone else to give you money? And I hate to put it in that negative light, but honestly, that's how I've felt personally many times when I was trying to get investors for my businesses that I tried to start years and years and years ago. I always felt like I was pitching and begging someone to believe in me, to believe in my idea, and to believe that I could make us money. What I did not realize is that all I had to do was go build up my credit to around a 700, and then I wouldn't need an investor. You can just go to the SBA and get a small business loan. If you're not completely in debt and completely, turned around on your debt situation, if you have a reasonable amount of debt with a reasonable income, with a reasonable credit score, you don't need anyone but you to start your business. And most small businesses, even if you get an investor, a lot of them are just going to go get a small business loan. So I always say, look to yourself first. I know so many people that still haven't started their small business because they're worrying about getting a pitch deck together and getting a perfect business plan together and getting projections together and doing all this and that. And that's great. That's fine for a certain business model. That's fine if you are trying to go get $1 million in your very first round of funding. But I kind of look at it more like, can you start a smaller module of that business with a smaller amount? Do you really need $1 million to get that first iteration of your product and business going? I would say that with most people's business ideas that you have, you don't need an investor. You just need good credit. And then guess what? Boom. You can do whatever you want, right? And nobody's breathing over your neck. Nobody's questioning your no one's questioning your line of reasoning. You don't have to ask anybody if something is okay. You don't have to clear anything with anyone. For me, that was my biggest problem, was before I started my first successful business, which was a cannabis delivery service named Weed Dash in Santa Monica, California. Before I started that, I was always looking to someone else to approve my idea and to go into business with me. When I didn't realize most businesses don't take that much money to start. My dispensary, I started that with about $10,000. And I was up and running and hiring employees within 30 days. And I was profitable within 6 weeks. $10,000. I didn't need an investor. I didn't need a partner. I didn't need to go beg someone and show them my idea and then hope that they like it. Gary Vee, I agree with something that Gary Vee has said many times, which is, if you don't absolutely need a partner, don't get a partner. Just do it yourself. And I know that those are two different lines of reasoning. I know that there's hundreds and thousands of entrepreneur gurus out there that tell you have to get a partner, or you need someone that's a visionary and then the other person has to be an integrator. For me personally, and that's all I can speak from, I can only speak from my personal experience. I don't know if that's because I'm a woman. I don't know if that's because I'm a Black woman. I don't know if it's because I'm also a musician and I have a certain look, I have a certain style that's not the typical business casual. I don't know, but all I know is anytime I've tried to get a partner, it hasn't worked. People, I'm just going to tell it to you straight. Business people, investors, potential investors, kind of look at me and write me off because I don't look like what they think in their head is a multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar business owner. I don't fit that mold. So when, usually when I meet with people, I'm the last person in the room that anybody thinks is a business person. I'm the last person in the room that anyone thinks has 4 degrees. I'm the last person in the room that anyone thinks has a half clue, right? So that's just my personal experience. If you have that look and that personality and whatever, where, people want to invest in you, you know what, honey, go get it. For me, I didn't have that experience. So for me, I like to be able to do things without anyone's approval. And the way to do that is to build your credit. You need to keep on top of your credit constantly. There's never going to be a week that goes by that you can just forget about your credit. You need to be checking your credit cards, checking your payment dates, writing your payment dates down, making sure that even if you can only do $5, $10, do $5 and $10, dude, on paying stuff down. It matters. I'm not going to get super into how to fix your credit or how to build credit. I'm sure that I will, I'll make an episode of that. But, honestly, it's not rocket science. You have to live below your means. You have to make sacrifices. You can't buy every cool thing that you want to buy. You can't go to every restaurant you want to go to. You have to keep your credit utilization down below 10%. Just the typical things that you would think that would build your credit, do. Don't let things go to collections. Don't buy shit that you can't afford, all that stuff. And usually you can turn your credit score around within 18 months. And I know that because I've done it. I've taken my credit score from like a 480 to a 700 within 18 months in the past. So, you know what? That's it actually. I have nothing else to say. So I really hope this audio wasn't completely terrible. And until next time, remember to demonstrate excellence and bravery.
The information provided in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice, investment advice, or medical advice. The host is not a financial advisor nor a medical doctor or licensed therapist. Any financial or medical decisions made based on the information in this podcast are made at the listener's own risk. It is recommended that listeners consult with licensed professionals such as CPAs, financial advisors, and licensed physicians before making any investment or medical decisions. The host and creators of this podcast accept no responsibility or liability for any loss or damages incurred as a result of the information provided in this podcast.